Okay, hey, I'm Jeff. I'm with Mifflin County Habitat. We're going to try to do some new videos and try something to teach and learn moment for people who have requests for us. We have people call our number and ask us how to do stuff a lot of times. So today we thought we'd do a video on how to do a set of steps. We have requests for a set of steps. So we're here today to build a set of steps. And as we go about these videos, if you guys have a special request for something, we would try to accommodate you, and you can see us online or on our Facebook page, wherever. But so I'm gonna start here today by saying we have a request for a customer. His camp, he wants to put a set of steps up to his camp. So we asked him to give us two things that he needed to know. We needed to know how high the set of steps were going to be to the ground, and then what he would like to have on width, and what he'd like to have for a nice step. And so he gave us those things, and I am a person who likes to use easy stuff. I go to Google and I Google up how to do set of steps up, and it takes my carpenter page, and I go to it and it tells me how to do it, and I punch in the rise, which is the height that we're going to, and it tells me all the calculations. And so we're going to go from there and start from there. What we have to do is it tells us we're going to have 12 steps. We're going to be 7-inch risers, and we're going to be 10 inches in our tread length. And that's what we're going to attempt to do here today is get that done with pressure treated lumber, because it's outside and it'll be weathered, so we want to do that. We could build the thing out of traditional lumber, but it may not last as long. So that's what we're here to do, and I'm going to turn it over to Harold now.
Hello, my name's Harold. I'm with Mifflin County Habitat for Humanity. We're here to show you how to cut a set of stairs for whatever your project is. I will give you some background according to the building code, what's required for stairs. In Pennsylvania, we operate under the Uniform Construction Code, which adopted the Residential Building Code. The Residential Building Code is a book that tells you exactly how to build a house, step by step. Stairs in the Residential Building Code, the maximum height is 8 inches, and the maximum the combination of height and run is 18 inches. So to determine how to build a set of steps, you measure the height of where you're going to, the height of the floor, from floor to floor, and the first thing you do then, after you measure that height, is divide it by 8, which is the maximum height of a step. Then you take that number that you get, whatever it is, has to be a whole number. If it comes out to 10.5, you have to use 11, and you go back and divide the height by 11, and from that you get a number, 7 inches, 5/8 inches, or whatever the number may be. If it comes out to be 8 inches or 7 inches by 10, or 7 5/8 by 10, you pick up a building square, a framing square, and use a set of stair guides to set the size and run of the stairs. This is a framing square, as common framing square is used. And this is called a stair guide. You install the stair guide. The edge of this stair guide sets right at the number that you've determined for your length of your step. And the second stair guide for the height sets on the other side of the square, and hypothetically we have 7 5/8 of an inch. So you set this at 7 5/8 inches. When it comes to laying out this, that gives you your measurements for laying out stairs. Then we'll show you later how to put this against the side of a piece of lumber and draw a line that indicates where the stairs needed, what size the stair will be. And at the end, when you get done, you can turn this around and tell you how to cut the bottom of the stair and the top so that it makes the grade. And as we get ready to cut the stairs, I'll be able to explain to you how to adjust for the bottom step and the top step as we put the lumber on it. So, it's been determined that the stairs will be 10 inches long. So you set one stair guide so that it's on the 10-inch mark on the square. As you can see, the edge of this guide is setting right at the 10-inch mark. To do the rise, you put the second gauge on with the line, the edge of this lining right up with the sides of the stairs. Then when you go to a piece of lumber to cut the stairs, and that's your step when you set up. This is your step, and this is how high you're going up. At the bottom of the piece of lumber, across the bottom of the stairs, there we go. This will give you the angle across the bottom. As we go out, lay out the stairs, we'll see that. When you're working with lumber doing building projects, you always need to check to see if the lumber has a bow in it. And when you always put the bow up so that when you put any weight on it, you're going to stress it
Back to being straight.
back to being straight. Okay, as we come to lay out the stairs, we've set our stair guide on the square. And the first step is to determine where the bottom of the stair will be, and we've got a line on there for that. But because it doesn't go the whole way across, we have to extend the line the whole way across the plank. Once you have that line established, you set the square on and make sure that this corner is right on that line. And you make sure both stair guides are back.
This gets cut off.
And you make sure both stair guides are back tight against. And the critical thing when you're cutting a set of steps is this depth here at the bottom of the cut has to be a minimum of 3.5 inches. It has to be more than 3.5 inches so it has strength to hold the people when you're walking with it.
That's why we use 2x12s, so it gives us enough strength out here, because we're going to cut all this stuff out.
And then when you get to the top, there again you put the square on the back side. And here again you need a line, a straight edge to give you a line across the board, the whole way across the plank. The tread will be 1.5 inch material, so you move the scale up to 1.5 inches. The bottom step as you cut it out is only 5.5 inches instead of 7 because you're putting 1.5 inches on top of it.
And then we usually cut another 1.5 inches off because we're going to put a board to tie the whole, we're going to put a board on the bottom of it. So
To cut it together, to hold them together.
hold them together. So we're going to cut another. But where we're at right now is we're counting our steps to make sure we got everything lined up, because this will be our pattern to make our other one. We're going to take
you should have 3 risers on any steps over 30 inches, 3 feet wide. You need a center riser to support the weight.
And we're only gonna have 2 on this because we're only going 32.
And then when you go to install, you need to put a board on the end here that tells you to hold them together. This being 1.5 inches wide makes this job easy here.
The square is 1.5 inches. This distance here is a nice gauge for doing that. So the bottom one's right. We got to make sure that bottom step's right because it's got to equal 7.5 inches up. So we're going to put 7.5. We're going to put 1.5 inches on the bottom and then a tread of 1.5 inches. And that distance with the 4 inches is going to give us 7-inch tread. Same thing at the
7-inch
top.
rise.
That's our template to cut another one now. And then we usually check it to make sure it's gonna fit. And right there's our mark where we're going to. And then a nice idea to find out this should be level. As you can see, that thing's level. Okay, we're gonna cut the second one out. Then we're gonna put it together and then deliver. Now we're laying this on as your pattern to cut the next one, or if you're cutting 3, you do the same thing, you just repeat it.
We got a problem, Jeff.
What?
The planks aren't the same width.
Pressure treated material, guys, is very inconsistent, very. And
That's good.
what we're doing is we're finding out this second one is a 1/4 inch smaller. So we're making sure that our front is where it should be. Now that we're ready here, we have the stair horses cut out and we have it ready to put together. We checked it to make sure that it fits where it's going to go. And now we're ready to put the thing together with some treads, the bottom cleat and the top cleat to fasten to the wall. So we're ready to do that. And we're going to cut some treads to put this thing together, and then you can see it like it's finished, but just making sure we have 2 of them here. We're only going 32 inches. And I put this template together so that we'll have the treads will be sticking out 4 inches on each side of the stair horse. We do that most commonly if people use 4x4s for railing. They'll fit even with the treads. So that's the kind of thing that we want to do, is we want to get that so that if someone puts railing on it, it'll fit that for that, which they will put railing on this. Okay, we're going to cut some boards out and try to get this looking like a set of steps. Now what we're doing is we're setting our gauges for our stair horses to be positioned.
Out of multiple pieces on a board, you have to allow for the saw cut. For each additional piece has to add an 1/8 of an inch. The second one you have to add a 1/4 inch. The third one you have to add 3/16 or 3/8. And when you're putting stair treads on, you need to check the grain pattern. See which way the grain's bowing, and you put the bow up. So if you don't, it'll cup a little bit and then it'll hold water. If you want an accurate measurement, if you stick your tape measure up against the end here, your tip could throw you off. To make sure it's accurate, you take and line up an inch mark and go from there. We went 4 inches, so I lined up on 2, it goes out to 6 inches, so it's 4 inches sticking over. ready now, guys. We have this thing cut, and we're just gonna cut the boards, and when we get back to camp, they don't want it too heavy to carry it in. So what we're gonna do is just cut the boards and lay them, and then they can go back. But that's essentially, you can see when this thing's sitting up, now we have about a 30, I think it's 37-degree angle here is what it is. Usually steps vary from 30 to 30, 37, 40 degree angle. And it depends upon how far you go out is your taper. But the square gives that to you when you put that on there. It gives your angle that you have. We're at the point now where we have the steps, the Terra Horse is built, we have the treads cut, and we're ready to carry it back to the camp. We don't want to make it too heavy to carry, so we're not going to attach any more to it till we get back there. But today's project, just resumming what we did, is we had a request for someone to, they asked us to build them a set of steps. They're paying for this, and we are accommodating there, and we're looking for people to volunteer, and anybody would like to see any new versions of what we're doing here, learn to or how to do things. We're able to do them. We start our houses. When we do our houses, we start from the foundation, and we do everything from A to Z till we turn the keys over to the families. And there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot for you to learn if you'd like to come out with us. And there's a specific day that you want to come out to learn something. We try to get that stuff posted on our line, on our Facebook page. But again, I hope we learned something here today with what we have to do. The volunteers, we like volunteers to come out and help us on the build days, but we also need volunteers to do the paperwork that's required. With a family selection committee that looks for the family, there's a fundraising committee that help to raise the fund for the build the houses. There's a family support committee that supports the new family to help them learn how to build the house and how to maintain it. And they work with the family after they're in the house to make sure they can keep up with their finances and everything. So there's lots of opportunities to do even if you don't like to build. So please come out and help the Habitat chapter for Mifflin County. Thank you very much.